channel. Please share it with your near and dear. Now we are going to learn question forms of will and shall. Question forms are like will you, shall I, shall we, what shall I, what shall we, such a kind of question forms really, which are used in our day-to-day life in a different way. So how we make use of those question forms of will and shall, let's learn. So first I'll make you learn will you. So will you is a question form really, but which is used especially for making a request like that. Okay, now I'll explain in what way we use this will you. Okay, will you is a question form which is used for making requests and offers. Will you please be quiet? We are requesting a person who is against us to be quiet. So we are requesting him to keep quiet. We can use in this way, will you please be quiet? And the answer for this, you see, the response may be in this way, will you please be quiet? For that he can say, sure. His response may be sure. His response may be certainly. Sometimes his response may be in this way also, I am sorry to disturb you. Will you please be quiet? For the response for that, I am sorry to disturb you, I am sorry to interrupt you. So like that he can respond. Will you lend me your book? Will you lend me your book? We are requesting a person, we are asking a person in a polite way to lend his book to us. So for that, will you lend me your book? So the response may be in this way. For example, I am sorry, I can't. If he is not able to give, if he is not in a position to give, lend that book to the other person, he can respond in this way, I am sorry, I can't. And in a polite way, he can even say, I am afraid, I can't. So refusing in a polite way can be expressed in this way, I am afraid, I can't. Like that, okay? And if he is ready to lend his book, then he can say, will you lend me your book? For that, you see, why not? Here it is. Here you are. There you are. Like that we can say and hand over. When you hand over anything to other person, we use here it is. Here you are. If it is a bit away, here they are. Here they are, like that. We can use here it is, here you are, here there are, like that we can use. Okay, and will you come with me? So it is also politely asking a person to come with us. Will you come with me? Then yes, of course, he can respond. Otherwise, yes, I will. Or he can even say, why not? So any of these responses could be used. Okay, will you, and for these are all, you see, the three sentences are for requests, and for offers also we use will you. Will you have biscuits? Will you have some biscuits? Or will you have biscuits? We offer biscuits to others. We can say, will you have biscuits? And the response for that may be thanks. By receiving the biscuits, the other person can say thanks, thank you. Or sometimes you see, that's very kind of you. That's very kind of you is equal to thank you. That's very kind of you is equal to thank you. And if you don't mind, sometimes when a person offers something to us, we can even say, if you don't mind, you can lend me, like that we can use. Such a way we can respond, okay, for offers also. Won't you have something to drink? Won't you have something to drink? Means, please take something to drink. That's the sense of it. And for that also, thank you, like that we can respond. So this is the way of using will you for requests and offers. The question forms of shall. Shall I? Where shall I? What shall I? Etc. Now let's learn shall I or where shall I? Okay, in what way we use this shall I? Okay, and especially shall I or where shall I? What shall I? This structure is used for seeking suggestions and offers. For offers and seeking suggestions. So when we want suggestions, when we offer something to others, we use shall I. So spelling is here wrong. Shall I. Okay. Now, okay, seeking suggestions and offers. I'll give some examples of it, and after that I'll explain them to you. All right. So in this way, especially for suggestions and offers, we use this one. So when we want some suggestion from others, we use shall I. You see here, shall I buy this bag? Means what's your opinion? What's your suggestion? If I buy this bag, is it okay for you? Does it seem good? So when we want suggestion from other person, we ask this question like, shall I buy this bag? Okay, response is also first I'll mention on the board, and after that, okay, question wisely I'll explain. Okay, for especially when we ask for these suggestions, a response is maybe in this way, or responses. So etc. we use as responses. Okay, all right. Okay, shall I buy this bag? So then, yes, if you would. Response may be in this way, yes, if you would, means if you like it, you can buy it. And sometimes I can even respond in this way. The other person can respond in this way. Shall I buy this bag? I think you should. Means I think you should buy it. Otherwise, we can even say, shall I buy this bag? You'd better buy it. Means you had better buy it. And sometimes we can even say, shall I buy this bag? If I were you, I would buy it. If I were you, I would buy it. Like that we can respond. Okay, shall I close the door? Yes, if you would. Response may be, yes, if you would. Shall I close the door? So these are all seeking suggestions only. What shall I do now? So if you seek suggestion from the other person, what you have to do at that particular time, what shall I do now? So maybe you see, I think you should go somewhere, I think you should do some other work, like that the other person can suggest. Where shall I hang this picture? So a person is seeking suggestion and he's asking you, where shall I hang this picture? So you'd better hang it on the wall, you'd better hang it in the drawing room, like that he can suggest. And for offers, shall I bring a cup of coffee for you? Shall I bring a cup of coffee for you? Means, would you like some coffee? So for that, as it is offer, then the response may be, yes, thanks. Yes, thank you. Or thank you very much. Like that he can respond. Shall I fetch you some water? This is also offer sentence. Shall I fetch you some water? yes please, thank you, and sometimes that's very kind of you, like that the other person can respond. In this way we can use shall I, where shall I, what shall I, like that. Sometimes you see how shall I, maybe. Okay, so such a kind of questions which are used for seeking suggestions and offers. Now let's go for one more question form. Shall we? Or what shall we? Etc. Okay, so this question form is mainly used for seeking suggestions. Seeking suggestions only. Okay, and now I'll give some examples. Okay, etc. we use. Okay, now okay, let us learn something of this. Okay, shall we or what shall we? So these questions especially are used for seeking suggestion. When we want suggestion from others, we use such expressions. Okay, shall we play football now? So when I ask shall we play football, the other person or persons who are against us can respond in this way, yes, or they can say yes, let us, or they can even say yes, let us play football, yes, let us play football, or sometimes they can say okay, or sometimes the other person readily can say good idea. If it is not acceptable to them, they can say no. And sometimes the other person or persons can also respond, sorry, I have to go now, sorry, I have to go now, sorry, I have some other work, like that he can respond. And sometimes they can even respond, no, let us not, shall we play football today? No, let us not, let's play some other thing also, we can say, let us not, they can say. And sometimes they can even suggest, no, let us do some other thing, means no, let us play cricket. Shall we play football now? No, let us play cricket. So they can suggest some other game or other thing like that. So such a way people can respond in this way. Okay, shall we have some coffee? Shall we take some coffee? So what's your response for that? Yes, let us, sometimes maybe. And shall we go to college today? No, let's go to a movie. Nowadays children sometimes can suggest in this way. No, let's go to some movie, like that. What shall we do now? What shall we do now? Let's go to a movie. The other person can respond. Where shall we go today? Let's go to NTR Park. Let's go to NTR Park today. That may be the response. When shall we meet again? Better next Sunday. The response may be better next Sunday. So in this way, the responses can also be there. So in this way, we use shall we or what shall we, where shall we, when shall we. These question forms are used for seeking suggestions. Thank you for watching this channel. We'll meet in the next episode.